So how do you go from there to being a LinkedIn top voice, established yourself as the voice of cyber? You're interviewing senior IT and cybersecurity professionals from like Africa, the UK, the US, obviously all around Australia. What was the most significant job you had that I guess pushed you into cyber?
When I worked at Commonwealth Bank of Australia.
Tell me about that. What were you doing?
So I actually got a job. Okay, that's right. Also, I had a job at a law firm. Didn't work out. Wasn't great.
Yeah.
That's a story for another day. Yeah, so I got a job. I was working at Westfield, and then I remember this recruiter, and I still know it to this day. And everybody was saying, like, I was like, I need a job. Because I worked out in Bondi, the centre there, and she's like, can you meet me in the city? I was like, well, I can't. Like, people are going to notice. She's like, fine, I'll come to you because I really like you. Similar background to people like you and I, right? Like, she could really get through, like, someone with nous, she could detect. So she came out to Bondi, she talked to me. This is really going back through the memory now. And she's like, look, I think I can put you forward for a role, da-da-da-da-da. And then she calls me up. She's like, look, you're going to go for this role at Commonwealth Bank, da-da-da-da-da-da. But you need to get there and, like, do this thing. So literally, I had to wear a uniform to work. So I'm thinking, why don't anyone know I'm going for an interview? And I can't roll up in a Westfield uniform. They're going to be like, what is this?
Oh, okay.
So I used to drive to work, and then I got changed in my car. Okay. Changed in my car. Then I was like, okay, fine. Like, now I'm out of the uniform. I had to go certain ways because, hello, CCTV everywhere. And the security. There was a whole security, like, operations down in the car park, right? So I was like thinking, well, people are going to see me and they're probably going to tell someone. So I had to like map out this way on how I could sort of get out with anyone noticing. And I did. Then I obviously got the train into the city, did the interview, walked out of the interview, and I tried to call a recruiter straight away and I couldn't get hold of her. And I was like, oh, I think I did really bad. She's like, oh my gosh, they loved you. When can you start? I was like, what? So I got my job, and it was still general manager, so I started off as an EA there.
You started off as an EA there.
Yep.
Getting like changed out of your Westfield uniform, in a car, whatever it takes.
Whatever it took.
Just for an EA job. But, you know, I don't say just for one because EAs are important, actually. And they're the gatekeepers to a lot of
I tell you how
things.
my mind got there, though, because I worked at Westfield and I worked in...
Yeah.
I wasn't on the front line at the help, like at the customer service desk. I was in the account management side of it, but I used to have to go around the center.
Yep.
The people how they would talk to you, they treated you really badly. So that's why now when you talk to, you know, wait staff and retail, I'm always very polite because I know what it's like to work as a frontline worker and how rude and degenerate people are. So I decided I'm going back corporate. This sucks. I'm out. So I did, right? I was like, I can't handle this. So I went into CBA, and that's when, you know, I worked in I got ITDS, Information Technology Delivery Services at the time.
So you started as an EA, like
general manager.
To a general manager over there.
Yep.
In what department?
So he looked after SAP.
No way.
Yeah, just started to build relationships with people because I used to know all the other EAs. And then obviously we had to book meetings with our general managers and their executive general managers. And then all of a sudden, like, you'd start to know the EAs, and by default, you know their GMs. So I sort of knew back then, well, technically what I've started to find out by this point is it's about who you know. So I was like, well, I'm in a really good position because I'm the gatekeeper for the GM. And I also have these networks that other people don't have. And you know, it's really weird. Like, other people would be afraid to go and speak to someone at like a high level, whereas I didn't care. I was 21 years old or 20 years old when I got that job.
Epic. You know, I always try to tell like young professionals coming through or people trying to get to another level, it's just like whatever you've got right in front of you right now, like just try to make the most out of it. And I think it's so cool that you came in, getting changed in the back of a car, trying to, you know,
make it work.
Trying to make it work. Get your foot in as an EA, and then just like make the most of that.
And
learn
I really
as much as you can.
appreciate the recruiter for doing that, and I still know it to this day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do.
You gonna give it a shout out?
Yeah, Elizabeth O'Brien, Liz O'Brien.
We might have to tag you.
She helped me, well, you know, she gave me the opportunity because she could see it, and I think she had come from like more of a regional area herself, right? So I think those people, when you meet them, you sort of stick together. You know one.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
You're like,
takes one to know one.
Correct. So I think that, I just had this, I've got to make my way. And I was massively driven at that point. But one thing I knew that I was relatively good at was building relationships with people, like being polite, being nice, being genuine though, not doing it from like a disingenuous point of view, like actually being genuine and saying hello to people. And I think that people just remembered me by doing that. People to this day still say, hey, I remember when you used to work on the floor, you used to say hello, you used to acknowledge people. And that to me is really important by how you make people feel.